First rain providing some slick roads, staying safe on this rainy event. The new advice from the CHP on making sure that all drivers are safe on the roads.
And keeping your gun out of harm's way, Fresno police offering a free and easy solution for gun owners to get a new gun lock. Good evening. I'm Stephanie Perugia, and thank you for joining us.
And I'm Alexander Balaki, and Ksee 24, your local weather authority. And for the first time in a long time, rain making its way through the Central Valley. Safety, of course, priority number one for Valley officials as residents are hitting the roads through this evening and, of course, throughout the night.
We do have team coverage for you of the storm with our Catherine Phillips standing by to tell us more about how drivers can stay safe as those roads are wet.
But first, we're going to check in with Chief Meteorologist AJ Fox. AJ, measurable rain, we know it's coming. And we know it's going to be a lot more by the end of the night.
Well, we can also see the end of it. If you just take a quick look at this valley cam that I'm standing next to, what you see is the end of the clouds and the sun poking through as it's going down over the horizon. And what that means is, even though we're still getting some showers right now in the city of Fresno, it's going to be on its way out. Our current temperature, our current rainfall totals are pretty disappointing. 400ths in Fresno, 100th in Visalia. But notice Merced, they got hit the hardest earlier in the day. 3400ths of an inch of rain, and the radar is showing us now that we got a wave that's moving right into the Fresno area and now already on its way out. And in the next hour, we should be done. And that'll be it for the night. Now, there's a possibility of more showers later on tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Merced's looking clear down into Tulare County. Maybe that second wave will come by Visalia and Tulare. Still going to deal with some snow, and that snow level is going to continue to drop. And it looks like around Yosemite Village, we may have seen the snow level get low enough that it would reach the ground there. That's pretty low snow level, actually, especially considering the time of year. Looking at our temperature, or the winter storm warning that remains in effect until 11 on Wednesday. That's going to be with us for a while. Currently, we're at 54 in Fresno, and a quick look at our valley cam. This is actually in Tulare, and you can see that the rain is there and the wind is pretty good too. The flag's blowing pretty good in the breeze. Tomorrow, we got an isolated shower that's still going to be a possibility. Then several dry days, but look at the cool temperatures. 57 expected on Thursday, and we may even see some patchy morning fog on that day. I'll have your complete forecast coming up. Now back to you.
AJ, thanks so much. So AJ mentioning the rain is kind of moving away, but yes, that wet weather, the first one, always slick roads for the very first time. So the CHP anticipating more calls coming their way.
And Catherine Phillips joining us live now on Highway 180 in Fresno. Catherine, have there been any crashes or fender benders so far tonight because of the weather that we know of?
You know, as far as we know, no, I haven't heard of any major incidents, but we're staying in touch with CHP officials, and they're going to let us know if anything happens. But they say even if it's not any major incidents, because of just how, you know, the traffic gets more backed up when there's rain and wet roads, and it takes a little bit longer for people to stop, they're expecting even minor fender benders to occur tonight. So they say that they're going to have every available officer who can be out patrolling the streets to be patrolling the streets today during this rainfall. They're also going to have more officers out in the higher elevations as well in those mountain communities where winter weather is expected. And because this is the first rain in a while, the roads are covered in oil and debris, making them even more slick. Now, he says if you're going, CHP officer Mike Salas says if you're going up to those higher mountain communities, and if you're not usually prepared to be up there, it's a good chance to check in and make sure if you have chains in your car, because they're required in higher elevations. And he says everyone needs to slow down because getting rear-ended is a big possibility with the slick roads.
Obviously, rainfall mixed with that speed is definitely a recipe for disaster. The last thing you want to do is put yourself in that jeopardizing position that it's going to take you a longer distance to come to a complete stop when you react to a danger out there.
Now, earlier today, when we were driving around preparing for this story, we definitely felt that traffic was heavier around Fresno, especially those trouble spots like getting onto the 41 from the 99. There was a really big traffic backup there. Right now, we are off of 180 eastbound at that entrance, and you can see traffic is moving pretty steadily. The problem is now the sun has gone down, so that adds a little bit more to it, and the rain is still coming down on us where we are right now in Fresno, but we will keep you updated if we hear anything from CHP. CHP. Live in Fresno, Catherine Phillips, Ksee 24 Local News That Matters.
Thank you, Catherine. And developing today, the first person in Fresno County to be charged with murder for fentanyl distribution pleaded not guilty in court today. The charges were filed against 21-year-old Ksee Gonzalez last month on her arrest on October 15th. She'll be back in court on November 29th. The DA's office says during a 9-month investigation, they found sufficient evidence to charge Gonzalez with first-degree murder in the death of 41-year-old Jade Drythe.
Not guilty. This is the plea late in today from the Bay Area man accused of beating Paul Pelosi with a hammer inside the San Francisco home of the House Speaker and Paul Pelosi last week.
NBC's Miguel Almaguer reports.
Wearing a jailhouse jumpsuit and his arm in a sling, David DePape entered a not guilty plea today. The district attorney successfully arguing for no bail, with the 42-year-old facing a litany of federal and state charges, including attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and false imprisonment.
We certainly view him as a public safety risk to the city of San Francisco, certainly to the speaker as time goes forward.
Visiting her husband today, Nancy Pelosi says Paul is making steady progress. Investigators say the 82-year-old was struck in the head with a hammer after DePape broke into the couple's home and told them he did not plan to surrender and that he would go through Pelosi. In the criminal complaint, DePape compared himself to the founding fathers, telling authorities he was fighting against tyranny without the option of surrender.
We're going to be looking into Mr. DePape, his mental state.
Inside this garage where the suspect lives, 16 miles away from the Pelosi home, investigators recovered paperwork, rubber gloves, hammers, and a sword.
From your time with him, did you get the sense that he may do something wrong?
To be honest, I kind of had the suspicion something strange might happen.
Blogs written under DePape's name shared mixed ideology and more recently far-right conspiracy theories. The attack itself fueled by misinformation. The former president on a podcast sharing debunked theories that police say never happened.
The glass, it seems, was broken from the inside to the out. And, you know, so it wasn't a break-in, it was a breakout.
After recovering a journal during his arrest, the federal complaint says DePape wanted to use Nancy to lure another individual to DePape, but offered no further explanation. Tonight, new frightening details from the man accused of a grisly attack.
Miguel Almaguer reporting. In Community Matters tonight, gun owners who are looking for a new lock to store their guns will be able to pick one up for free. Fresno Police donating 400 gun locks to Valley Children's Hospital so you can pick one up there. Police say firearm injuries are a common cause of death for kids, and most of the time those incidents happen at home or a friend's house. Last year in Fresno, Police Chief Paco Balderrama says 2 kids accidentally shot themselves after finding guns in their home. Doctors and the police say responsible gun ownership and safe gun storage saves lives.
But unfortunately, we have data to suggest that 75% of those kids that their parents think they don't know where the gun is or that they don't even have a gun, those kids know, and they know where it is and they know how to access it.
Oh, the one thing I know, that a gun that is secured in the home safely with a gun locker in a safe is not going to hurt a child. That we know for certain.
You could also pick up a gun lock at all police substations and, of course, at police headquarters. The locks are provided through a national grant from Project Child Safe from Washington, D.C.
To mark Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, Valley Animal Center in Fresno honoring the memories of pets that have passed on. The center posted photos of pets along with notes from their owners with favorite memories. About 30 pets were honored today as part of the ceremony, and there were more of a number of animals who spent their lives inside the shelter. Organizers called the celebration of these pets emotional, but they say it gives them the spotlight one more time.
Still to come, a piece of American history up for auction.
How much this original copy of the U.S. Constitution could bring in at auction.
Your weather headlines for tonight. The first real rain of the season has finally arrived for the mountains. We still have a winter storm warning that will continue through all of tomorrow. The snow level dipping down to 5,000 feet. I'll also remind you to change those clocks this Sunday. We return to standard time. Your 4-day allergy forecast brought to you by Boz Allergy. That'll stay in the low range, especially Wednesday and Thursday, and then it climbs a little, but still low. Elm and juniper, the predominant pollens. And since we're dealing with the first real rain of the season, here's a look at a live view from the corner of Herndon and Palm, and you can see the raindrops on our lens there. Everybody being very courteous and a little cautious while driving. That's good. We'll have your complete forecast coming up as Ksee 24 News continues.
I'm waking up my day, so let's get it started. Turn it up, turn it on, keep the morning moving right along. Yeah, I'm waking up my day, you make it feel alright. I'm waking up my day, waking up my day. Don't you know I'm ready for whatever comes my way? I'm waking up my day.
Start your better life with a new implanted supported smile from Dr. Ryan Dunlop.
I can't say enough good things about what I've had done. I find myself smiling just because, just in the car, listening to the music.
Call today to book your consultation.
Chances are we've already met. But when we meet here, this is where our worlds will come together. Korea Health is built for this moment in your life. We are courageous, resilient, ready. Health is our passion, and excellence is always our focus. Because when you come in here, our priority is to get you back out there.
Korea Health, more than medicine, life.
Let's fill up on the truth. Rudy Salas is the only Democrat who voted against the gas tax increase. Salas voted against increasing the gas tax. That's the truth. Meanwhile, David Valadeo's helping big oil jack up prices at the pump. Just this summer, voting against cracking down on oil company price gouging. And Valadeo's taken over $450,000 from the oil and gas industry. Fed up when you fill up? Thank David Valadeo. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
For Rudy Salas, it's a charmed life. Paid the highest legislative salary in the nation, even as Californians pay the highest gas prices. Given over $80,000 in free gifts and trips. Some were financed by groups pushing a bill that could raise gas prices 73 cents a gallon higher. Salas backed their bill, selling you out. They paid his way, we paid the price. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Start your better life with a new implanted supported smile from Dr. Ryan Dunlop.
When I first saw my smile, I was amazed. Do they really look like this? I smile a lot more. And that's what's better for me.
Call today to book your consultation.
The Valley's Armenia. The mission returns November 16th on Ksee 24.
Now, AMS certified chief meteorologist AJ Fox with your local weather authority forecast.
Well, our temperatures today were just a little bit below average, and I do mean just a little. 1 degree below average for the morning low. We were at 49. Normal's 50, 69. That's only 2 degrees below average. So generally speaking, today was kind of an average day. And we were actually better than average when we finally get our totals. The numbers that come out for this report come out at 5:30, and they hadn't registered any rain yet for Fresno. So an average for today is 200ths. Well, I'll tell you what, we got that beat in Fresno. 400ths of an inch of rain so far. Might get a little more in the next hour because this only comes out once an hour. 100th of an inch in Visalia, 1500ths in Madera, 3400ths in Merced. This is a look at our time lapse from our Valley Cam on top of our building. We caught the first wave coming through, then the second wave of showers. And now that the sun is setting, it was a beautiful sunset that is continuing to happen right now. A couple of dark clouds that are left over, but beyond that is clear skies, and that may open the door for some patches of fog, but I think that'll come the following day. Also want to point out, this is our Valley Cam, a fairly new one that we have at the Tulare Outlet Center, and you can see the Outlet Center there, but watch the flags over here telling you how strong the winds are right now in Tulare. So we've got a new front that's coming through as we speak in Tulare, and you can see from our live radar that Fresno's just about done with it. It looks like the southern Well, if you cut it sideways, that southern half is dealing with the showers, and then to the north, it's definitely drying out. So that's going to continue. Merced, you're done for tonight, and we'll maybe see some isolated showers tomorrow. We'll get to that. South Valley, one wave that's moving now through the Porterville area all the way up through Three Rivers, Visalia down through Tulare. There's that another weak front with some stronger winds and some more showers. Beyond that, that's all the cold air that's going to continue to move through. It's going to really have an effect on our morning low temperatures. That's why I think we might have to deal with some fog on Thursday morning. Let's get through the next wave of showers first, because we'll have some dry time tonight. Then tomorrow, do you see these isolated pockets of showers? That's an indication of cold air, and it's called instability, and that's, I'll give you, that's weatherman code for potential thunderstorms. And so you see each one of those little pockets, that could grow into something a little bit bigger. We'll be on the lookout for that tomorrow. The amount of rainfall, well, the models had it a little bit higher than I think we're going to get, although Merced was approaching 0.4 of an inch, and they're just shy of that now. 3,700ths for Fresno. We got a long ways to go to reach that. 2,800ths in Visalia, also way behind 3,400ths in Mendota. You get the idea. With the snow level at 5,000 feet, it looks like now we may get 7 inches of snow in Huntington, 6 in Sequoia National Park, but still an inch in Kings Canyon and around Yosemite, provided snow level's low enough, an inch plus a little for Yosemite National Park. So the winter storm warning remains in effect until 11 p.m. on Wednesday, and it extends all the way up into the Tahoe area and beyond. Northern Sierra Nevada, definitely. Our overnight low temperatures tonight got some chilly numbers. 43 in Pixley and Kettleman City, Corcoran as well. 43 in Lemoore, 44 in 5 Points, San Joaquin, Madera, Chowchilla, 44 in Dos Palos, Merced, and Los Banos. Our high temperatures, we're also looking at a lot of 50s, a couple of lower 60s, 59 in Chowchilla, 60 for Firebaugh, 59 in Madera, 62 in 5 Points, Lemoore, 59 for Visalia, a high of 28 in Sequoia National Park. Definitely snow. 59 for Porterville, 58 in Delano. You're looking at the next 7 days. What we're talking about are temperatures that are going to be dropping into the 50s tomorrow. We'll stay there on Thursday. The morning low temperatures will be in the lower 40s. I think Thursday will be our best chance at patchy morning fog, because the other days, Friday and Saturday, the air will be drier as the morning lows get a little cooler. So I think there'll be less chance of it. Then, looking ahead to the weekend, don't forget to change your clocks, but we've got more rain possible Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. Don't let that be your excuse not to vote. Your regional forecasts are available on our website at yourcentralvalley.com, so please go check it out there. I never heard anybody rejecting a ballot because it was wet, so
no
turn
way.
it in.
Yeah.
No way. All right, don't wash your car either. Right?
Probably, yeah, that's probably some
Mine's
good
parked
advice.
outside, so I'm good. I made sure not to park under a tree.
Oh, yeah.
Where you get the leaves and the sap and all that.
Yeah,
It's a mess.
all right, AJ, thank you. All right, still ahead here at 6:30, Election Day, again, a week away.
How many California voters have already cast their ballots?
Wildfire smoke threatens your health, whether you're on the front lines or in your front yard. Prop 30 helps prevent wildfires and reduce toxic smoke, so we all have cleaner air to breathe. Yes, on Prop 30.
The latest conditions live. The Ksee 24 Valley Cam Network.
With violent crime in our communities and the cost of gas, food, and medicine rising, we need a leader in the assembly that we can trust to fight for us, not a quitter like Mark Pazin. While murders in Merced County hit an all-time high, Mark shamefully abandoned his post as sheriff, quitting in the middle of a gang crisis to take a fancy Sacramento political gig. We can't trust a politician like Mark Pazin, who already turned his back on us. The stakes are too high.
Fall allergy season has started with grass and weed pollen and high levels of mold in the air. Air pollution makes allergy symptoms worse. Boz Allergy knows coughing, wheezing, and headaches due to allergies and asthma can mimic COVID-19 symptoms, and flu season is starting. Come to Boz Allergy at the first sign of symptoms. Rest assured we'll diagnose and treat you accurately. Stay safe and stay healthy. Contact Boz Allergy today and breathe easier.
To protect Valley families, State Senator Melissa Hurtado took on her own party, fighting against the early release of violent criminals. She's working across party lines to increase funding for local law enforcement and crack down on human traffickers. Now, as the Valley faces a fentanyl crisis, Hurtado is working to prevent overdoses and save lives. Endorsed by California's police chiefs and first responders, State Senator Melissa Hurtado. She's all Valley.
Celebrate America's men and women of service November 5th at Clausen Motorsports. Join KC24 and great local partners at the 4th Annual Veterans Motorcycle Run. Ride to protect the sacrifices made for our country and our freedom.
Midland Tractor has a history of partnering with local growers, creating successes as rich as the valley soil. We bring the latest technology to our customers and provide on-site training and startup with the promise to stay until your equipment is performing as it should. Midland Tractor guides and supports through sales and unmatched service from the ground up. We've been committed to grower success for over 40 years. Thanks to you, our story continues. Midland Tractor Equipment Solutions, guaranteed.
Next, E.T. King Charles's royal regret about William and Harry. New book bombshells revealed. Then,
hey, entertainment tonight.
Oprah's favorite things. Next, E.T.
Entertainment Tonight, weeknights at 7:30 on KC24.
California has the worst air pollution in the country. It's fueling a health crisis that's getting worse. Prop 30 will combat wildfires and reduce tailpipe emissions so Californians have clean air to breathe. Yes, on 30.
KC24, your local election headquarters, and today marks a week until Election Day. But don't forget, early voting has been well underway for about 3 weeks now.
So far, statewide turnout is not looking too strong. Capitol Bureau reporter Eitan Wallace dove into the numbers and looks at how many Californians have cast a ballot.
More than 20 million Californians received their ballots in the mail, but now the question turns to how many people will actually vote. Ballot after ballot after ballot. Over the last 3 weeks, California saw some 22 million ballots sent to registered voters via mail. So far, though, just 2.8 million of those ballots, or roughly 13%, have actually been returned. The figures coming directly from Political Data Inc., or PDI, a nonpartisan voter information service.
I think a lot of us that work in the field were expecting higher turnout than this by now.
Paul Mitchell is PDI's vice president. He says more than 20 days into early voting, the turnout is not particularly strong. Still, he says there are factors to consider. Compared to this time during the last election 2 years ago, turnout is lower, but Mitchell says that is to be expected given the fact 2020 was a presidential election. And compared to this time during the last midterm election in 2018, statewide turnout so far at least is higher. But Mitchell says you have to be careful when comparing.
In 2018, there were literally more than 1 million fewer voters to start with, and only 7 counties in the state were mailing ballots to all the voters in their county. So now we have all 58 counties mailing ballots to every voter. So it's a larger number of people that can return their ballots by mail. So the fact that it's a lot higher than 2018 really isn't surprising.
In this blue state, Democrats are outnumbering Republicans in early voting nearly 2-to-1, with the numbers also indicating half of the ballots sent in so far are from seniors, while just 10% are from younger voters aged 18 to 34.
It means that these early ballots skew much older than the actual electorate. So if the election were to be held just among people who'd voted already, you'd see the election being skewed very heavily towards the electoral preferences of very old Californians.
And a reminder, if you received a ballot in the mail, you still have time to send it in. It must be postmarked no later than Election Day, November 8th, and must be received no later than 1 week after that. Of course, you can always drop it off in person at your local elections office or voting center. Reporting here outside the state capitol, Eitan Wallace, KC24, local news that matters.
Still to come, the original copy of the U.S. Constitution up for auction.
The price tag expected for this piece of American history next.
Politician Adam Gray. You pay his salary, but he skips work. Skipped over 150 votes. Didn't even vote to stop the gas tax. When he does show up, his votes make things worse. Gray voted for a multi-million-dollar tax on dairy farmers, a $3 million tax on grape growers, and a massive tax increase on livestock feed. Adam Gray. We're better off without him. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Let's fill up on the truth. Rudy Salas is the only Democrat who voted against the gas tax increase. Salas voted against increasing the gas tax. That's the truth. Meanwhile, David Valadeo's helping big oil jack up prices at the pump. Just this summer, voting against cracking down on oil company price gouging. And Valadeo's taken over $450,000 from the oil and gas industry. Fed up when you fill up? Thank David Valadeo. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Prop 26 is a massive expansion of gambling in California. It would give wealthy tribal casinos a virtual monopoly on sports betting. No wonder every major California newspaper opposes Prop 26. The Fresno Bee says voters should reject Prop 26. The LA Times calls Prop 26 toxic and a bad bet. The Mercury News says Prop 26 would enable reckless profiteering. Vote no on Prop 26.
I was not confident in my teeth at all before I had braces. I had gaps in my teeth were uneven. Dr. Tom and his team definitely made us feel very comfortable. They did treat me like family. They did treat us like family. I was comfortable to ask them any questions about my teeth, and they would give me an honest answer, and I really appreciated that. I was surprised just of how quick it was. Fast Dental Fresno made it super easy, and in as little as 4 months, I had my dream smile. I would absolutely recommend it.
I'm Adam Gray, and I approve this message. John Duarte doesn't live here and hasn't done a thing to lower gas prices. I voted to stop the tax on diesel for tractors and trucks, and I wrote the bill to suspend the gas tax. I took on Sacramento to protect our water and our jobs. That's why Valley sheriffs and local newspapers support me. I'm the independent Democrat for Congress.
Know an inspiring educator? Tell us at yourcentralvalley.com. Each week, KC24 celebrates an educator with classroom supplies and honor wall recognition. Educator of the Week, Wednesdays on KC24 News, brought to you by our local partners.
The Valley's Armenia, the mission returns November 16th on KC24. A rare first edition printed copy of the U.S. Constitution going on the auction block in December. About 500 copies of the Constitution were printed in 1787, but of all those, only 13 have survived. 11 are in a museum or institutional collection, and 2 remain in private hands, including this one. The other sold at auction in November of 2021 for more than $43 million, and that at that time was a record for a printed text. So we'll see what this one brings in, maybe even
inflation,
more than that.
So
yeah,
who knows?
Probably more.
Let's see at 11.
Bye-bye.
Many places full of history mark the Valley. Join me as I take you on a tour of the people and places that made history right here in our backyard.